Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Etna Life Live. My name is Alexis. I'm the director of the Etna Community Organization, here with Robert, one of our board members. So, this is our third episode of Etna Life Live. The reason we decided to put on this weekly program was really to stay engaged with all of you under the present circumstances. We're an organization that focuses very heavily on community engagement, and of course, COVID-19 and all the guidelines around that right now makes that impossible in person. So we had to really think creatively about how to stay engaged through the digital network in this time of physical isolation.
I think we were also hearing that the stories that were being posted on Facebook, on social media from the local businesses, and they were stories worth telling. So we launched Etna Life Live to also hear local business stories. And that kind of brings up today's program. We have Mary Ellen from Divertido, one of the local businesses here in Etna. And then we also have Josh and Gab, who are performers, musicians, comedians, and they are going to be talking about their Josh and Gab show, which is a live performance and how they've been adapting during this time period.
Yeah, definitely. And for anybody who might not be able to tune in tonight or missed the last past two video sessions, you are able to rewatch them on Facebook. We're also uploading them to our YouTube channel, so definitely, if you're interested, take some time to check those out for sure. Um, yeah, so
So right now, one of the big things that's happening, I just got back from the Etna Food Drive. It's happening over at the All Saints Activity Building. And in order to get there, you go down Dewey, you go on right on Wendland, you go right on Wilson, and you go right on Church Alley. And at the door on the side of the building, you'll see our Mayor Tom Rangers, his wife Sandy's there. Tom Hill Jr. from Etna Pedestrian Alliance. Maddie from the Manual Lutheran is the volunteer coordinator. And I also saw Sophia, one of the past junior council women. And just, you couldn't see their smiling faces. They all had on masks and gloves, but very much appreciate what they're doing down there.
Yeah, that's so exciting. For just everybody's for context, the food drive launched last week during the Wednesday 6 to 8 time slot. So during last week's live session. Since then, it has operated on that Wednesday, the Friday, and then Friday from 10 a.m. to noon, and then the following Monday from 2 to 4 p.m. So it's operating 3 times a week. But just in this past three drive days, they were able to collect 56 boxes of food to be donated to the Bread of Life Food Pantry. And on top of that, people really showed up, and they received over $1,400 of monetary donations. So it was a really exciting first week.
It's really incredible. A lot of it, there's two major service providers. First is the Emmanuel Lutheran Church, and that's led by Pastor JJ Lynn, as well as Alexis Weber at the Bread of Life Food Pantry, who is the recipient of that food. And Alexis, if you can just maybe for a minute, just touch on what's happening in terms of the need. We had a big drive last week, but, what are you hearing from the ground in terms of the need?
Yeah, definitely. That's a really great point to bring up. So, um, the short answer is that the need is growing, and it's going to continue to grow. Um, Food insecurity and food access at large were already existing issues in the community. So, COVID-19 and the crisis around that has really just exacerbated that to the max. For some context, so Emmanuel Lutheran uh, is one of the sites for student grab and go lunches through the Shaler Area School District, but they also saw a need to provide lunches to adults as well. And so in the first week, they provided 40 meals, but they really were relying on just donations from others surrounding from Hampton and Elfinwild, caught about pierogies, at a donation-based provided food. So in that first week, there were 40 meals, which increased to 50 in the second week. So, the need is certainly growing, despite the great turnout of the food drive to be donated to Bread of Life Food Pantry. They are still facing shortages, with more people in need and lining up for distributions each week. So, this is a really a long-term issue, and it's going to take a long time and a lot of effort on our end and the community's end to show up and continue providing resources so that we can meet that growing need.
Yeah, there was, from last week's show, hearing Allison talk about how things can't go back to the way they were before, and the need to build a new world, a new ways to improve our social services nets so that people aren't starting with a pre-existing food shortage that we can. So I can only see this as going forward. But Alexis, you put out a really great message last week. It was 5 ways that people in Etna or even outside of Etna can give. So can you talk about that?
Yeah, definitely. So I guess, as a precursor, it can feel really overwhelming right now. There's so much need. Sometimes that really does feel paralyzing, like you feel helpless. But there really are ways that you can help. So, we're just trying to outline 5 simple things you can do. One of them being donating non-perishable food items to the food drive on the 3 different days per week. So you can see that information on our social media. If you can't donate non-perishable food items, you can donate money either in a check that can be made payable to Calvert Memorial Church, 94 Locust Street, Bread of Life Food Pantry, or Emmanuel Lutheran has an online ability to make a donation. You just have to, in the drop-down box you just have to select Bread of Life Food Pantry. Number 3, you can sign up to volunteer for the food drive to help with that. There's also other food-related relief efforts that you can sign up to volunteer for. That form you can find on our social media. It was in the link too of the email that I sent out. You can order takeout or delivery from your favorite food businesses in your local community. You can also order a new tea towel or a nice little bowl or anything from a local a shop just to support them. Definitely follow the CDC guidelines, wear a mask, social distance, get fresh air if you need it, but just be mindful of the current situation and the public health concerns. And 2 other things that you can do, outside of that happen following that email. So we issued a Triborough, so Millville, Etna, Sharpsburg, a business survey. So if you are a local business, check out our social media. You'll see that post on Facebook. Take some time to fill out that survey. It really is just asking what needs you have, what you're experiencing during this time due to COVID-19. And that helps us understand how we can provide support in our capacity, how we can connect you with resources out there. And finally, later this week, we are going to be issuing a buddy system that's kicked off in a few other communities in the region. So Lawrenceville is really where I first heard it started. And what they do is they match volunteers who are willing to go grocery shopping to individuals who are either at risk or confined to their homes. They can't leave or don't want to leave to go shopping. So just finding a buddy so that you're able to still get your groceries or any essentials at that time.
Well, I know as somebody that gets to see a lot of your work on the weekly basis, I appreciate all of the different ways that, one, you're collaborating inside of Etna with the borough, with Mary Ellen Ramage, with Emmanuel Lutheran, with Bread of Life, but also outside with our friends in Sharpsburg and Millvale, and as well as across the river in Lawrenceville. So I think that kind of shows the power in numbers and how we can kind of attack this and also share ideas. So thanks, Alexis. I'm going to speak with Mary Ellen now, and so I will see you in a little bit. Okay.
Exit. Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Hang on. Hi, Mary Ellen. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Robert?
Great. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is our third episode, and we're just so lucky to have your time and your perspective on what's going on. So if you don't mind, could you introduce yourself to us?
Okay. I'm Mary Ellen Gubanic, and I own Divertido. That is a gift shop here in Etna. It's been here for 2 years, and I'm also a resident of Etna.
So a lot of ties to Etna. You before opening your storefront, you were also at what was formerly 448 Studios, correct?
Yes, I was. So my history is basically Divertido was a store that was born in Lawrenceville, and I closed that store in 2016 and got wind of what was 412 Studios. And at that time, I thought I would do online. So I rented a little studio there. And that was just a really great experience to be living in Etna and to be able to have this little space that I could go to and work on my website, which I never really did too much of that. But I loved going to the space.
Yeah.
So and also I grew up here in Etna.
So then you have just a long history. There's definitely, I heard, that you live in Etna, you're a neighbor here, so you're invested in the community. Are there other reasons strategically why, or personally why you opened a storefront in Etna?
Well, so just to make a long story short, so I had the space in 412 Studios, and I think the winter of 2017, or the fall of 2017, I noticed there was a store in the storefront where I'm located now that closed, and I kept watching that space, and I thought, oh, I don't think I want to open another storefront. And I'm not sure how it came about, but I spoke to, I think, Mary Ellen Ramage, and we talked about doing a pop-up store in the space where the music studio is. And I did that with Etna Prince Circus. So it was kind of fun. And as we did that, I asked Mary Ellen about the space that was available for rent. And she, immediately put me in touch with the landlord. And I talked to my partner, and I said, I'll sleep on it. And the next day, I decided to rent the space. And that was in 2017, December. And I opened the store in March of 2018.
Oh, one of my favorite things to do on Saturday is to do a tour of the local businesses, to get lunch at Cop Out, to stop at your store. And really, I never go in knowing what exactly, I'm nothing in particular I'm looking for, but I always walk out finding 10 things that I love. And your store has a special quality. How are things changing now that type of browsing and that type of interaction with customers who are also your friends and neighbors? How is that all changing?
Well, so I don't see, any walk-in customers, because I did close. I think I closed the shop on around March 18th. And it has changed. I don't really see people. I don't really even see people walking to the store, because I do go to the store and work on the website. But what I decided to do was really start to work on the website a lot more, like to use this time to get items on the website and to let people know that they could purchase items on the website. And I offered free delivery, whether it was porch delivery or driving to a part of the city to deliver. But I also asked people what they would prefer, whether they preferred like a porch drop off or would they prefer mail or delivery via mail or UPS, because I wanted to be sensitive to their concern, with the coronavirus.
Yeah, I used the website Divertido Shop last week, and it's an incredibly easy site to use. It certainly seems like that's an essential tool right now for a shop, and it would make you more resilient. Is that true? And do you see others making that investment that you're making and going to the web platform?
It is true for me. I've had customers who have been customers like yourself and others in Etna. Once they know they can order online, they are ordering. And also, I also added a gift certificate, gift card, and which I read somewhere it's called the classic, gift card, and then also an e-card, so that people could order, to shop online later date or to shop in the store at a later date. And that's been very positive. I've had positive response. I'm very grateful, and it makes me, I'm like, oh, I got to get a few more items online. So it's kind of, and I have like my store before I closed it was packed full of new things, so I have so many things to put online, and I'm going to keep doing that. But I do like the interaction of customers. I do. I love finding items, and I love when people come in and find something that they love. It just gives me satisfaction.
And Mary Ellen, I wanted to ask, you were somebody who was very involved in the ECO District process. You're a EEDC board member. You have had a major role in helping to shape the community and how we interact. I was just wondering what your perspective is on what community groups and organizations, as well as businesses, should be trying to do right now from your perspective.
Well, first of all, I think you have to keep a positive attitude, and it is very difficult because I feel like, I want to be open. I want other businesses to be open. And I think that's the first step. And I also think that if you're offering customers to purchase items, via curbside or if it's the website, I think that, I think that's so great. And I also think that as you do that, that it's nice to offer them, like you offer them their purchase and they come and pick it up or you deliver it, but maybe just give them just a little extra with that, because it's very difficult for everyone right now, to keep our heads positive and not be overcome by fear, and to just have something light added extra just adds, I think, joy to someone's day or hour or minute. So that's what I would suggest if you can do it.
Well, I just wanted to thank you so much for coming on and sharing some of your stories with us. As I just wanted to highlight some of our partners who help us put this on. For each of the businesses that appear, we wanted to make a donation or a payment for your time. And so that comes from ECO, the Triborough Eco District, the Garden of Etna, and an anonymous donor. So we just very much appreciate that you came on and you shared with us. Do you have any message that you want to share with Etna, kind of a closing thought?
This is what I want to share, like to be grateful for your family and friends that are surrounding you, and to really be grateful for all the people that are helping the community, and to be strong, be faithful, be helpful, and to pass it on, and also to follow the guidelines they're giving us. This is a real thing that's happening, but we can get through it together. It's my message.
We really can, and I can't wait till that day where I'm back in the shop. But for now, I'll keep using Divertido shop.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you. I'm now going to, bye, Mary Ellen. I'm going to bring in Alexis again. Hi, Alexis. Coming back, 3, 2, 1. Hi.
Hey, back.
Okay, great. And I'm going to say goodbye. Do you want to introduce our next guest?
Yeah, absolutely. So with us, we have the Josh and Gab show. Both Josh and Gab are present. I might have to adjust just really quickly with the tech. So just give us 1 second.
Okay. So, hey, Josh. Hey, Gab. Do you mind? Welcome to Etna Life Live. You know Etna very well. Is that correct?
Knows and loves Etna as well. It's near and dear to your heart, I think, right, Gab?
Oh my! Well, I mean, we developed the show, partially in Etna, I would say,
And just because it is such a dynamic type of show, can you give a better description than I can give?
Josh, you?
I'll let you.
All right. Well, our program basically came out of this wild idea that Josh and I had, which was, what if we wrote all music with an anti-bully theme, and we became an anti-bully rock and roll band, and then we took it to schools and we did assembly programs, and everyone thought we were crazy, and it's literally 8 years later, and we've been doing it for 8 years. So that's basically, it's a very high energy, fun, autobiographical approach to the anti-bully movement, which is essentially turned into the pro-kindness movement, I would say.
That's awesome. That's so. Sorry about that little glitch. Thanks everyone for the patience. But that's so awesome and such a cool thing. I'm just trying to reflect back to my days in school. Like that would have been such an awesome program to have. I remember a lot of assemblies, but maybe not something so like fun and engaging and interactive. So that's just, just a really inspiring message. And, what was really your, forgive me if Robert noted this, but what was your motivation, behind starting it in the first place?
We were sort of asked, we were almost commissioned to create this program. That was a time where I was living in a little house in Etna. And Gabby and I were friends. Gab, who has been like a extremely successful comedian regionally and nationally for a long time now. We were just buddies hanging out, and we had a mutual friend that asked us if we would create a school program just for like 2 schools in her district. And I think we were kind of reluctant at first. We were like in our late 20s or something. We were like, oh, this isn't a
right
thing to do, And we ended up hanging out in Etna at my little house, and it's just like the most idyllic period of my life. It's such happy memories. We worked for a series of weeks on writing this show, mix of music and comedy and interactive lessons, and we studied up on a lot of the bullying awareness literature at the time, and we ended up doing this program, and it just kind of spread like wildfire for, years now. Almost a decade, really. We've been doing it now. Gab performs under the Gab Squad banner, and
cool.
doing a lot of solo programs as well. And it's been amazing to see the whole thing develop.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Sometimes you really don't know where an opportunity will lead you. I think that's just true in life in general. And I heard you say that you've been doing this for 8 years. Have you kept mostly to the local area? Have you gone, extended to other parts of the country, or what is your, show range?
Well, we've been as far as Mexico. We were asked to host an international children's festival in Mexico.
That's awesome.
Which was great. We were sure we were getting kidnapped because it was very vague way they found us, but it was the best experience of our lives. It was crazy. And we've been to 15 states, I want to say, other than Pennsylvania.
Quite a few, yeah. We've. It's so funny because when I see Gab, especially with this quarantine right now, and there was a time where I would see her every day. And so it almost feels like we have this shared joint hallucination, which
It's true.
little thing. I almost forgot we went to Mexico. We were invited to this children's festival in Mexico called Aire Libre, and we performed to to a bilingual audience because it was Monterrey, so sort of northern Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
We were there for 2 days. They flew us home. We made it fine, and it seems like some kind of dream, right?
We were in a hotel that they put Lady Gaga in. Like, it was like bizarre. Like, we only had like one season under our belts, and we were like, how are we getting this? It was very strange. Yeah.
That's wow, what an experience. You'll certainly remember that forever.
But in my heart, it goes Monterey and then Etna.
Yeah.
Yes.
Monterey.
So you do shows in the local school district area as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, hundreds just in this region. There's so many schools within an hour radius that we found we were able to be full-time performers and be home like in time for dinner.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great setup. And I know, your show just sounds so fun and engaging and interactive. I can't, in these present times where that's literally not possible anymore, how has COVID-19 impacted it?
Well, leading into it, like before there were, before we were being told to social distance, I already was thinking like, so I'm very active with a microphone. I have a wireless microphone that I share with every child that wants to speak. And I was like, oh my gosh, we might have to cut this out of the program, going forward. But then school just was canceled entirely. So at this point, I mean, we have had to adapt to doing it online, which we have done before. We've done for cyber schools. We have a history of doing online assemblies. So it's just sort of adapting that way.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Yeah.
We don't know what's going to happen. We've been planning ahead to do all sorts of new programming this upcoming fall. We were really looking forward to it and hoping that, in-person school will continue to be a good thing and a regular cultural experience, right, for young people in Pittsburgh and beyond. But we have adapted our programs to be custom live webcast programs, which we've done in the past and had a total blast. Some of the educators can moderate. We can take questions via text instead of sticking the microphone in your face that 8 other people, have been basically drooling on.
Oh, that's awesome. On the one hand, it certainly is, I can imagine just hard not to be able to be in that live in-person, setting anymore. But it is, to me, hopeful that and inspiring that you're able to, adapt and just move with the times or be moved by the times and just be present in that digital platform. We've certainly been, like I shared at the beginning, feeling that as well and just trying to be creative and however we can to still have a presence and still stay engaged. So, that's awesome.
And I think we're lucky too that our audience are mostly kids that do spend that amount of time on their iPad anyway and are used to engaging with people that have a YouTube channel or through a live stream.
I think just circling a little bit back to Etna, Josh, I know you especially were involved in the Etna community and the ECO District process too. What's one of the main reasons you stayed so connected to the Etna community? Both of you too with the show.
Yeah. Well, my mom and dad grew up in the North Hills. They're both from Shaler. And my grandparents, their parents, lived in the area when I was a little kid, when I was growing up. So I didn't grow up in Etna, but Etna to me represented Christmases and birthdays. And every time I came, it seemed like traveling, from black and white to Technicolor, like the Wizard of Oz, I have really vivid memories of driving up what becomes Mount Royal Boulevard. And many years later, when I was employed, I was able to buy a house, and just kind of by total chance, I found this awesome little cottage in Etna, right off of one of the streets where I remembered as a little kid having these wonderful memories and the excitement that within a few minutes I'm going to get to see my grandparents, And so that became kind of my home base. It was like my bachelor pad. That was where we recorded music and where I just had this extended period of life where I had a large basement with a recording setup, and Gab and I could work on music, and the other grown-up band that I was in could stuff. And around that time, Rob, known to you guys as Robert, known to me as Robbie Tuna, piano player, who is an amazing, amazing force for good in the region. He'd been a friend since way back in high school. And little by little, he started spending more time in Etna. He and his wife bought a house there. They got unbelievably involved in many local movements and wonderful causes. And I just remained interested in it because I still have that house. We have it as a rental property, which isn't a very, like, again, not a very cool thing to say, but we love the area. I mean, I miss being able to walk down the street and seeing a beautiful main street. I really, really do.
Yeah, that's just, it's, I personally am not from Etna either, but as soon as I started working here, I felt that just magical connection. It's a wonderful place, and I love it dearly. I feel very much a part of the community, even though I technically don't live here. So that's a wonderful story. And I was lucky enough to be present at the Etna Art Tour, where you performed and Robbie got up
came up and played keys. Yeah,
it was very fun.
Gab might not know this. Gab, on the Meeting of Important People, the Troika album, the last song, Robbie is playing piano. So not only is he a community organizer, but he can tickle the 88 keys.
Yeah, so everyone check out the song and know that fearless leader Robert Tunon is on there.
The Renaissance individual.
Yeah. So, I know your shows are tailored towards student audiences, but for us right now, would the two of you, each of you, be able to play a song and provide some of that?
Totally.
Who wants to go? You want to go first, Gab, or what do you think?
It's totally up to you. I mean, I got to get my power system on. I think it's connecting. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I won't be able to follow Gab because she's the greatest performer. I'll play like 2 minutes of a song on acoustic. We probably won't be able to play it together live.
Okay. Yeah. I'll wave.
Anybody who's watching, sit through my song because Gab is about to perform the world premiere of a song called Living Life in Quarantine. Okay?
It's a variation on another song we have, but yes, it's a world premiere, guys.
World premiere. Okay, I'm gonna sing a 2-minute song about Kennywood Park. I see him in the hallway, I see him and he stares. He points at me and giggles when he passes on the stairs. Well, now I'm here at Kennywood and feeling really scared. Cause right when I was standing there in line to get a bite, he passed me with his buddies and I was in his sight. He looked me in the eye and said we're gonna have a fight at 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock. Well, I'm not one for fighting, and I don't have a plan, cause I bruise really easily, and I've got tiny hands. But all my friends are telling me I gotta be a man at 9 o'clock. 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 At 9 o'clock behind the jackrabbit. 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 Kennywood Park, please open in 2020. Please open. They will.
They'll open.
They will, right?
I think so.
No, that was so wonderful. That gives me so many memories. I love Kennywood. I hope they open. I really do.
They have to. They have to.
I know. I've been wanting to go back. Oh, that was so fun. Thank you so much for doing that.
I was having way too much fun listening. It was. Josh is the greatest guitar player ever. Take that, Jimi Hendrix, whoever else played the guitar. Never heard of him. Josh.
Yeah.
All right, Gab. So
like Jimi Hendrix.
And this is Josh Verbanets also on guitar, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going to try to go along with the delay.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
I'll keep the speaker with me.
There we go.
1, 2, 3, 4. This one goes to the shy kid, shy kid, shy kid. This one goes to the mad kid, mad kid, mad kid. This one goes to the sad kid, sad kid, sad kid. This one goes to all kids, all kids, all kids. This one goes to the fun kid, fun kid, fun kid. This one goes to that one kid, one kid, one kid. This one goes to the tall kid, tall kid, tall kid. This one goes to all kids, all kids, all kids. 'Cause in this world, we gotta learn to love ourselves.
Wait, what?
'Cause in this world, we gotta live with ourselves. That's why we're living life in quarantine, in quarantine, in quarantine. 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 This one goes to the loud kid, loud kid, loud kid. This one goes to the proud kid, proud kid, proud kid. This one goes to the scared kid, scared kid, scared kid. This one goes to all kids, all kids, all kids. 'Cause in this world, we gotta learn to love ourselves. 'Cause in this world, we gotta live with ourselves. That's why we're living life in quarantine, in quarantine, in quarantine. 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 I thought I should just end it there because it's a 9-minute song.
You see, hey,
That
I'm
was
gonna figure out-
wonderful.
if I vaguely just go and let it ring, it's like I'm playing with you.
That I could
It's
hear
hard
it.
enough thing.
Oh, that was such a fun song with such a good message too. I mean, very relevant. And you adapted to the times, but very true. You know, we
what
do
if-
have to
what if-
live with ourselves. So in this world,
What if Gab was like, I wrote that song 4 years ago?
I knew this was gonna happen.
yeah, you predicted.
Yeah.
Oh no, just overall, it's so much fun, both of you. I really wish I could be a student back in school to have your show. I can imagine how fun that would be for all of them, and it's such a just wonderful thing that you're doing for all the kids out there. You know, school's a hard time. Growing up is a hard time. So
Ooh, yeah. Yes.
yeah. So thank you so much. Before you two sign off, do you have any final words for everybody out there?
I guess in terms of Etna stuff, it just seems to me like Etna really stands a chance. Etna's doing all the right things, and there's so many river towns around the greater Pittsburgh area that have not had some of the privileges that Etna has, and that have not made some of the great decisions that Etna has. I think that the community is, I think it's absolutely continuing to be on the way up, and for me, it's just awesome to even get to witness it over the last decade of my ins and outs of the area. Gab, do you have any final words?
I think my final words are just, oh my gosh, this is a tough time for everybody. Keep that in mind. Everyone is struggling and suffering. So the more empathy you can have, I think that'll make this an easier time. And also compassion for yourself, because I find myself being like, Gab, you should be doing more, and being really hard on myself. And every day I have to kind of practice, Gab, it's okay. You know, everyone is suffering, including you. So you're allowed to take a minute too. So I would say compassion for yourself and empathy for others, and just be kind.
Yeah, thank you both so much. That's, both very meaningful messages, and we greatly appreciate you taking the time to be with us. So
Thank you.
thank you so much. And I think with that, Robert's gonna sign you two off.
Thank you.
Just
Wow.
yeah, just amazing. This each week brings new stories that certainly kind of motivate and get us going. I know you have to do a lot of work on behalf of the community, and I'm sure stories like this just kind of help you connect to meaning.
Oh, absolutely. It's so fun, so nice to just, like you said, be reminded of those connections, reminded of those stories. It really defines the purpose and the why of what we're doing. So
Right. So you talked about a lot of the new programs that you're I live on High Street, and anybody that lives on High Street knows that you get that person trying to speed up the hill, trying to make it all the way up one of the Dirty Dozen hills.
Oh.
Just I was going to ask you, Alexis, just actually, I did want to share something real quick, and then I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
One of the big developments over the last week, and I just want to elevate this, is that the Garden of Etna made a very selfless decision, and that's led by Tom Quigley. And they are working to convert the beds, which are typically managed by individual families, to be managed for the Bread of Life. So people that have historically cultivated their own bed, this during this cold weather season, as long as Etna Borough has their emergency declaration, they will be the gardeners themselves will be donating seeds and working the garden, and all of that produce will benefit the Bread of Life Pantry. And I just wanted to, that's one of my favorite stories from the last week, because they don't have to do that. And working with the borough, working with Mary Ellen Ramage, Tom Quigley found a way to kind of make it work. And certainly, again, one of those stories that just says, keep going, keep working. And so what is on your mind? What are some of your recent accomplishments, and what's on your mind right now?
Yeah, I guess first I'm really glad that you bring that up, with the Garden of Etna. It's certainly, like you said, none of us really have to be doing anything right now, but the fact that we are coming together, I think speaks a lot just about this community in general. Myself, in addition to a lot of the more outward facing initiatives that are ongoing and the coordination a lot with that, kind of behind the scenes, just really trying to do my best to find ways to continue to sustain and enhance the relief efforts going on. So food is obviously a big focus. It's a basic need. It's an issue. We're doing our best to provide relief. And what I'm trying to do to support that is apply for emergency aid in the form of grants. So last week, I submitted an application to New Sun Rising's Crisis Mitigation Fund. It was a $5,000 ask that, if received, will go towards Emmanuel Lutheran Church, the Bread of Life Food Pantry, the Garden of Etna, and local businesses, just to, again, sustain the ongoing efforts, but then also to enhance them, knowing that we have a growing need. And so this week, another one of my goals is to apply to the Pittsburgh Foundation's Emergency Action Fund for very similar support needs related to food and local business financial support. And I guess I'll say that I would encourage any business or arts organization or nonprofit to look into those opportunities as well, for your own support and aid too.
Thank you for working on those grants. Everything is connected to funding, so being able to support these organizations and their transition and they're all expanding what they do. So making sure that they're financially able to do that is critical during this time period.
Yeah.
So I think we're ready to close out here. What can we look forward to next week?
Yeah, so next week we'll have additional guests. We're always we're really looking to support as many local businesses as we can. So if you're out there and interested in being on the show, definitely reach out to us, and we'll provide other updates, of the ongoings in Etna and our relief efforts. In addition, in the meantime, don't forget about the food drive. Don't, watch back earlier in the video to the 5 or 7 things I listed about what you can do to support your community right now. If you want to be on that email list and didn't receive that, just shoot us a direct message. But otherwise, stay safe and stay healthy, and continue to social distance and find ways to, just cope and take care of yourself.
Yep. So thank you, Alexis. Great show. I'm going to bring back Mary Ellen and Josh for just a final wave goodbye. So thank you very much for everything. Thank you, Josh and Mary Ellen, for being with us. And that's the end of our show.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Etna Life!